Hi, my name is Nabeel Petersen and I am one of the co-directors of the Pivot Collective, and we've been running the Young and Curious project in South Africa. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, I was 6 years old, probably in creche, in a very, very different South Africa. Our project is trying to break the figurative fourth wall when it comes to project management. So what we want is for the audience to become active members of the project from its very design phase to the implementation phase. So what our project is trying to do is challenge the way that projects have traditionally been designed so that young adults in the context of mental health and well-being can work with us as active producers and co-owners of the project for a much larger engagement experience. We believe that by doing so and involving the beneficiaries of programming, we can reach a much bigger demographic in South Africa for greater impact. Our project is a hub that is focused on co-design and participatory approaches whereby young adults are actively involved in the entirety of the project. So we've been working with young people in very, very different contexts and very different thematic areas, from sexual health and well-being to tuberculosis, HIV. And what we realized is there wasn't one singular space where young people could explore their own curiosities around the kinds of research they want to be involved in, the kind of research that they want to explore, and the different ways that they choose to present this knowledge forward. This project was that opportunity for young people in a very open-ended process to explore everything they chose. What surprised me most about this process was that all the young people or young adults in this project chose their own micro project. So we had young people really wanting to tackle mental health and well-being, not only for themselves, but for others. Anything from designing videos to arranging doodle evenings very specific to a certain mental health issue, such as ADHD or schizophrenia. And all of these young people became leaders in their own right, in their own communities, pushing this agenda forward as they so designed. So what makes this project unique is the fact that young people were positioned at the epicenter of the project. They designed everything from the ground up. They decided on the thematic areas they wanted to choose. They decided on the audience attending the events, and they decided on anything visual related to the event. So what makes this unique is that this was a truly young person-centered process and continues to be so. So what society could benefit from this, I believe that with an engagement practice, if many projects adopted the same participatory approach, I feel that a lot more people would be exposed to knowledge and become knowledge producers. So what does my wife and my mother think about this project? They've both attended numerous events. And for my mom, coming up to the doodle evening, it was one of the first times she could openly speak to people she doesn't know about the intergenerational trauma she faced as a South African growing up in apartheid. For my wife, I would imagine she would say that it was really fun. So it was a different pedagogy. There was no teacher-student in these processes. It was, you attend these events as a co-producer, as an agent of change, as someone that has something to contribute. That we were limited by funds and ultimately in the possibilities of trajectories for the project. So each young person had a little bit of budget to install and design their own process. And I keep wondering what would happen if we weren't that limited by funds. If these young people could install their own projects and form larger relationships with psychiatric and psychological institutions. Because we have found that a lot of these psychological institutions attended our events, but we never had the budget for young people to partner directly with these institutions for greater impact or to establish these projects on a larger scale. So, lying at night, I can't help but wonder what would happen if we let loose the reins of power when it comes to these structures of engagement. What could young people achieve if they were truly at the epicenter of design, not being limited by funds? When I was a child, I pretty much wanted to be either a fireman or a doctor. No, neither of that came true.